Okay, let's dive into one of the most really astonishing financial turnarounds in modern entertainment.
It really is something.
We're talking about Shonda Rhimes. She was once paid just $30,000 per episode for Grey's Anatomy.
30,000 for writing, creating, running one of the biggest shows on television.
And that show, I mean, it generated billions for the network. Billions with a B.
Yeah, billions in advertising, syndications, streaming deals, you name it.
So fast forward. Today, that same person, Shonda Rhimes, she holds this massive deal with Netflix, valued up to $400 million.
$400 million, it's just the scale is incredible.
The gap there between $30K and $400 million, it's immense. And it wasn't luck, right? It wasn't some external investor swooping in.
No, absolutely not. It was all strategy, ownership, and just, well, sheer creative power and will.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. We really want to get into the mindset, the strategic shifts, the leverage she used. How did she go from, talented but underpaid writer to this unignorable global force?
Right. And this deep dive, I think it's like a blueprint, really, for any creator out there who feels undervalued. Because it shows the financial value of what you make isn't fixed, It's something you negotiate. It depends on ownership.
So she didn't just chase a bigger paycheck.
No, she fundamentally changed the whole equation. How her creative voice, her work was valued. She basically taught the industry that creative talent itself is a massive, durable asset.
Okay, let's start right there. That initial contract.
Yeah.
$30,000 an episode for Grey's. Now, maybe that was standard then for a new creator. I don't know.
Yeah, arguably it was within the standard range at the time for someone launching their first big show, but
when you see the revenue that show pulled in, billions, it becomes kind of shocking, right? How did Grey's generate so much, and why didn't she, the engine behind it, get a bigger piece initially?
Well, that initial number really frames the core problem, doesn't it? The network made money in sort of two main buckets. First, advertising during the live broadcast.
Sure, standard stuff.
Right. But the real long-term money machine was syndication. That's the key.
The reruns.
Exactly. Selling those reruns, which, let's face it, fans watch over and over again, to local TV stations, cable channels, and then eventually huge deals with streaming platforms forever, in perpetuity.
Okay, so she was paid for the job of writing and producing each week.
For the labor. But the network kept the asset, the show itself, and that endless river of cash it generated. And her financial mindset, which the sources really highlight, it seems she became acutely aware of this. It wasn't bitterness, maybe, but awareness. Money wasn't just a reward, it was proof of value.
And that huge gap between her pay and the show's earnings.
It basically signaled that the system itself was structurally refusing to see, or at least refusing to pay for, her true creative worth.
So, okay, the issue wasn't just the initial number, it was the structure. Paid for work, not for owning the thing you created. That requires a huge shift in thinking.
A massive shift.
And this leads us right into her career strategy. She started as a writer, but she very deliberately pushed to become something much bigger. The showrunner. What did that practically mean in terms of power?
Control. It means control. And ultimately, that's how you create wealth in this business. A writer, delivers a script. Your influence kind of stops there.
Right. You hand it off.
Yeah. But the showrunner, that's the CEO of the show. They're overseeing casting, the budget, editing, directors, the whole tone, the final product, everything.
So it sounds like she figured out, hey, if I want a piece of that massive syndication pie, I need to control the factory that's making the pies.
That's a great way to put it. Exactly. She stopped thinking like talent for hire and started thinking like an owner, a manufacturer of valuable intellectual property.
And she did not just once.
No.
Yeah.
By getting that showrunner role first on Grey's, then creating and running Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. She built this incredible leverage.
She proved it wasn't a fluke.
Right. She wasn't just a one-hit wonder writer. She proved she could build and operate a sustainable, highly profitable storytelling machine. I mean, remember TGIT?
Thursday nights on ABC. Dominated by her shows.
Totally. At that point, she wasn't just a brand. She was infrastructure for the network. Mandatory viewing, built on her vision, consistently delivered.
That's really interesting because building that powerful brand, Shondaland, it seems like the goal. But doesn't becoming infrastructure sometimes limit your creativity? Like if you're known for a certain thing, does it trap you? How did she avoid getting stuck in the Shondaland box?
That's a really sharp question because, a lot of creators do get pigeonholed. Her approach seems to have been constant expansion within the brand.
Okay, think about it. Grey's is a medical drama. Scandal, intense political thriller, How to Get Away with Murder, a legal thriller, and later Bridgerton, a period romance. Wildly different genres. So the common thread wasn't genre.
No, it was the voice. The sharp dialogue, the complex female leads, the high emotional stakes, that willingness to break conventions, like with casting. So when Netflix came calling with that huge deal, they weren't just buying her next script. They were acquiring the entire Shondaland operating system.
A whole machine.
Yeah. The track record, the quality control, her team, the proven ability to launch global cultural conversations. She essentially turned her distinctive voice into a scalable, high-volume IP factory that could deliver hits across different genres.
Which brings us right to that pivotal moment, the decision to walk away from the network where she'd built all that. And sometimes, these huge shifts, they pivot on something small, almost mundane. We have to talk about the Disneyland pass.
Oh, yeah. It's such a perfect telling anecdote. It just crystallizes the power dynamic or the lack of respect, maybe.
So set the scene. She's arguably the biggest powerhouse creator at the network, right? Delivering billions in value.
Absolutely. Hit after hit, dominating their schedule.
And she asks for an extra all-access Disneyland pass. Not for herself, but for her nanny. So the nanny could take the kids while she worked. Simple request, you'd think.
Seems reasonable, right? But the response she reportedly got from a network executive was, well, breathtakingly dismissive. Something like, don't you have enough already?
Wow. Just, wow. It wasn't about the cost of the ticket, obviously.
Right.
It was this profound gut punch, this realization that despite everything she delivered, they still saw her success as, what? A gift they bestowed, rather than acknowledging her actual genius and contribution. Like she was just really, really well paid, hired help, not an essential partner.
Exactly. And that moment, according to the sources, provided this instant, brutal clarity. She realized that staying somewhere she was fundamentally undervalued, disrespected even, was actually limiting her future.
So it became a filter. Yeah, she apparently refined her decision-making filter right then. Started asking two key questions about any opportunity, any relationship. One, does this expand my ability to tell the stories I care about? Okay.
Does this give me more authority, more control over how those stories actually reach the audience and live in the world?
And the traditional network system, after that Disneyland Pass incident, it failed both tests.
Pretty clearly, yeah. So the move to a new platform like Netflix became almost inevitable. Necessary.
So moving to Netflix wasn't just chasing the bigger number, the $400 million. It was fundamentally about regaining that authority and control. A huge bet on where the industry was going.
Absolutely. She read the landscape perfectly. She saw viewers weren't loyal to channels anymore. They were loyal to content, convenience, binge watching on global platforms.
Right.
Partnering with Netflix gave her two things instantly that the old system couldn't or wouldn't. First, true creative freedom, away from restrictive broadcast schedules and ad breaks. And second, guaranteed simultaneous global reach for everything she made. Every show launches everywhere at once. That's massive power.
So she used that moment of disrespect, that catalyst, as the final push to achieve what she probably already knew she needed. Total creative independence and a global stage. She made sure Netflix wasn't just buying her next idea, they were becoming her worldwide distribution partner, investing hundreds of millions because of the Shondaland brand she'd already built. And the results, I mean, they really do speak for themselves. The payoff is clear in the output. Let's talk Bridgerton.
Perfect example.
That show was such a statement piece, wasn't it? Taking maybe the most traditional buttoned-up genre, the period drama, and just blowing it up. Modern music, diverse casting, unapologetically romantic and steamy.
Totally subversive in the best way, and audiences went nuts for it. Became Netflix's most watched show ever at the time, right? Top charts everywhere.
Yeah, like 70-something countries. But it's not just cultural buzz, is it? There's a real economic story here, too.
Oh, definitely. When we talk about cultural engineering, Bridgerton is Exhibit A. There are estimates it contributed something like, what, $275 million to the UK economy alone in just 5 years?
Wow, 275 million pounds.
Yeah. Filming locations, tourism, jobs. It shows her storytelling isn't just entertainment. It's a significant economic engine on a global scale. That's quantifiable, massive value she delivers.
But okay, delivering that kind of monster hit and potentially more like it year after year, that takes more than just a good idea or even a great brand. It requires unbelievable discipline, right?
Yeah.
What's the sort of quiet secret behind her being so consistently prolific?
Yeah, the sources really point to that. Consistency over waiting for inspiration. She apparently runs her creative process like a well-oiled machine. How so?
For decades, apparently, a ruthless writing rhythm. Up early, write first thing, meetings happen later. Protecting that core creative time was like non-negotiable.
She built her life around the writing.
Seems like it. For so many creative people, the biggest hurdle is just showing up consistently. She seems to have structured her life and her company, Shondaland, to just eliminate that hurdle. She didn't wait for the muse. She clocked in and did the work every day.
So that $400 million deal, it's not just for Bridgerton. No, it's like the compound interest generated by that relentless, focused, creative discipline applied over 20 years. It's payment for the entire system she built, fueled by that consistency.
It's a masterclass, really, in treating your creative talent like a professional, high-value engine.
Yeah.
We should touch on the year of yes idea, too. We think of it as a memoir, personal growth, but strategically. Was it also about pushing boundaries, avoiding complacency?
I think absolutely. It reads like a habit of expansion, right?
Yeah.
Saying yes to things that felt scary, pushing outside her comfort zone. That same impulse probably fueled moving beyond traditional TV, seeking new creative ground, making that bold, potentially scary leap to Netflix.
So she never let her huge success, even billion-dollar network success, become a reason to just coast.
Exactly. Always testing the limits of what her voice, her company, her creative output could achieve, constantly evolving.
So wrapping this up, the core lesson here feels bigger than just get a better agent or ask for more money. Her journey seems like a fundamental reframing of power in the creative industries. She didn't just fight for a bigger chair at the old network table. She basically designed and built a whole new table, the Shondaland structure, and then made the biggest players, the streamers, come to her.
Yeah.
She was definitely undervalued for years. But instead of letting anger or bitterness drive her, she used that moment of disrespect, the Disneyland Pass incident, as fuel. Chose clarity, bet everything on the proven, tangible economic power of her own creative voice. So what does this all mean for you, listening to this? I think her success really validates this idea. Your unique creative voice isn't just, a message or an artistic impulse. It is a product. It's a strategy. It's a powerful form of currency in today's economy. And when you internalize that,
You stop asking other people, other systems to tell you what you're worth. You start figuring out how to build the structure that reflects that value yourself. The story, Shonda Rhimes, it really tells us that when you know what your creative voice is worth, you don't just wait for an invitation to join the existing game. You build the table. You hire your own team. You write your own damn script for your career. So the challenge we leave you with is this. What system are you ready to start building now that you see what's possible when you refuse to settle for anything less than owning your creative power?